a dog food commercial, your throat tightens, your eyes sting, and a small voice in your head goes, "Why am I crying? I'm not even sad." That confusion isn't a glitch. It's the most honest thing your body says all day. You were taught one equation: tears equal sadness. So when tears show up at something tiny, you reach for that word, but the word doesn't fit. The tear doesn't track the type of feeling, it tracks the size of it. Any feeling big enough will trip it: joy, grief, relief, beauty. Now, by the end of this video, you'll know what the tear is actually responding to, and why the person who can't cry at all might be carrying the same thing as the one who cries at everything. And here's where it stops being obvious. In 2015, a team led by Aragón at Yale watched people sob while holding newborns and cheering at reunions. Not one of them was sad. They named it dimorphous expression, a negative-looking response triggered by a positive feeling that got too big to hold. The tear wasn't grief leaking out. It was the nervous system pulling an overflowing emotion back to a size it could survive. Pixar had this before the scientists did. In Inside Out, the whole engine runs on it. The tear that arrives when joy and sadness fuse into one. The tear tracks volume, not flavor. Your body doesn't cry because a feeling is sad. It cries because a feeling got loud. Psychologists describe the tipping point as the emotional saturation threshold, the level where arousal, good or bad, outruns your capacity to regulate it. Cross that line, and the parasympathetic system fires a release. Joy can cross it, awe can cross it. So can a sappy ad at 9 p.m., which is when most people cry. The tear is a pressure gauge, not a mood ring. A pressure gauge only tells you the needle is rising. It doesn't tell you what's been building. 2, the small trigger isn't the real cause. The trigger isn't the actual cause. You cry at a song you haven't heard in years, and it feels disproportionate, almost embarrassing. It's not the song. The body stores what it never got to process: unspent stress, swallowed grief, the week you held it together for everyone else. Somatic researchers describe this as stored load, and a small stimulus is the valve it finally finds. Think back to the last time something small broke you open. What had you been holding before that moment? The song didn't make 3 tears, it made room for 300. But the valve doesn't open for the thing that actually broke you. It opens for strangers. 3, fiction is the only place some people are allowed to feel. If you grew up hearing "don't cry, be strong, you're fine," your nervous system learned that real tears were unsafe, so it locked the door on high-stakes grief, the kind that needs witnesses. A film about strangers, that's safe. No one's watching your actual life. Vingerhoutz tracked this across 5,500 people. The most common crying window is 7 to 10 p.m., not grief hours, the hours your defenses go down. You weep at a fictional father and son because in that window, the feeling can't cost you anything. Psychologists call this the permission to feel mechanism. Emotion released only where the stakes feel survivable. The things you cry at, that's a map. A map of feelings you were never given somewhere safe to put. But what about the person whose map came out blank? 4, the person who can't cry is carrying the same weight. Nobody says this one out loud. We read the dry-eyed person as cold, controlled, fine. They're often the opposite. A nervous system trained hard enough on suppression stops firing the release at all. Lauren Bilsma's lab at Pittsburgh analyzed more than 3,000 crying episodes. The easy crier and the can't cry person carry identical loads, only the threshold differs. One overflows at a commercial, one can't overflow at a funeral. Same pressure, different valve. Not every tear is a release, though. Some are a groove, a reflex you reach for because it's easier than naming the feeling underneath. If you cry at every ad, every song, ask yourself one thing: am I processing this or performing it? Release leaves you lighter. Performance leaves you tired and a little numb. The difference is quiet, but you can feel it. So, if the tear isn't sadness and it isn't weakness, what is it trying to say? 5, the tear is a signal, and its first job was never sadness. Vingerhoutz spent decades on this. His answer was surprising. Emotional tears didn't evolve to express sadness. They evolved to ask for help. A visible tear is a flare. It tells people around you, this is too big to carry alone. It pulls them closer. So when you cry at kindness or a stranger's quiet decency, your body isn't broken. It's recognizing something it hasn't had enough of, a moment where being overwhelmed is met instead of judged. So the next time a commercial gets you, and that small voice asks, "Why am I crying?" you don't have to be confused. You're not sad. You're full. Something got too large to stay inside, and your body did the only honest thing it knows. Sadness was just the nearest word. The truer one is overflow. Want the next layer? The childhood that quietly wires which feelings you're allowed to have. That video's already up. The childhood that makes solitude feel safer than people. Subscribe so the next one finds you. We don't only describe what you feel, we tell you what it's really saying.